Good morning, YouTube. We are in Post Falls, Idaho. Let's get it. First leg of these contracts. Let's make some money. All right, here we go. Doctor 213. You know what, man? I feel so good about these loads. Like, compare them to Vegas. You can't, because there isn't any comparison at all. This is amazing. I don't know how, like, maybe, I'm thinking maybe because drivers don't like going up here. Well, the possibility of you chaining is there for sure. Especially if you have to cross over heading to Seattle or whatever. So, but what is chaining? I mean, come on. If I got a chain, I'm gonna chain that son of a gun. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Even though I ain't got no chain, but we can go pick up some chain. But for the money that they're paying, man, picking up a set of chains is nothing. I think it's because some drivers, they just don't want to chain up, you know? Hey, you know what? There ain't nothing wrong with that. Where there's less drivers, it's better rate for me. We're hooked to the trailer. 530-527. So on my logs out here, because I know Washington very well, and I know your possibility of you getting inspected, so you better get your ducks in a row, even though ducks are usually willy-nilly. Is that right? But you want to make sure. So I'm making sure on my ELD, I'm putting everything on there, every little detail. So I put on this one, I put on there, I picked up trailer, you know, trailer number or whatever. But the reason why I'm doing that is, you know, once you get inspected, I know they're not going to find anything, but if the inspector is picky enough, they could say, well, I don't know what trailer you have, you know, and I know I can put it in on a form type. It actually takes even longer to do, you know, but if you put it over here, this is just my thinking. If you put it over here where it says on duty, I annotated on the notes on there, and if I get inspected, it could possibly be like, okay, once they see that, they'd be like, okay, hey, you know what, this guy's pretty squared away, so they're probably not going to look any further or try to dig any deeper, you know. That's just my thinking. Presentation is everything. See that Caterpillar place over there? I picked up there before when I used to do flatbed. I took it all the way to Fargo, North Dakota. It was only like a box. You know, I kind of miss those days. I kind of miss the flatbed days. Get you more active. I learned something new today. So I was thinking, well, maybe I should ask Siri about chain laws over here in Washington. Sure enough, I had no idea. From April 1, or not April 1, but from November 1 all the way to April 1, it's mandatory that you carry chains out here. That's why you never stop at a truck stop. Should never have to. Just bring your own coffee. I just went in here to grab coffee, then I ended up grabbing that. Here we are, YouTube. We are on that last leg, the very last leg. We're actually just dropping it off. 836. And that's it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with the first block. We only got 8 more of these. We have 9 of these total, only 8 more to go. That's not so bad. Let's see. But it's 8 is 16 days, so we only have 15 days in a wake up. That's it. Well, actually, it's gonna be more than that because they're gonna put a reset in between. So we're not even gonna count right now. We're just not even gonna worry about it. The main thing is this block was fairly simple compared to the blocks that starts at Las Vegas. Oh my goodness, this block was like, I would say 30% easier than those ones over in that part of the country. So I don't know why these people over here are not jumping on these, because these, I mean, we'll break it down at the end of the video. We'll break it down on what we made and what we netted and stuff like that. So, but so far it looks, it doesn't look that bad at all. You know, just the way I'm seeing it right now, it just does not look bad at all. It looks very promising, I can tell you that. I wish the rates were like this the whole time, but then again, if they were, everybody'd be doing it, you know? They think they're only doing it this time because not a lot of your regulars that want to come up here during this time of the year, because of course it's the possibility of chaining up. Ain't nobody want to carry them chains from November 1 to April 1. We ain't got no problems with it. If they're gonna pay this kind of money, shoot, we can chain up every day. That's no problems. Because when you're in the contract, you don't gotta finish the contract. If the weather's holding you up, guess what? The weather's holding you up. And when you report that, and then you miss some of your pickups or whatever, they're still gonna pay you. As long as it was out of your hand. As long as it's not within your control. Our next one is not going to be available. The details will not be available until tonight. But based on that first one, I don't think they're going to be that much more different. If they are, they're not going to be like an insane amount of difference, I don't think. At least I hope not. Crossing fingers. All right. We're going to go to the TA. We're going to try to set up for a schedule to get an oil change. Hopefully, it's not that bad. We're going to line up for an oil change. She's going to need an oil change. Her oil change right now, last time she got an oil change was 12,580 miles ago. Normally, that's about average, but since I did a lot of short runs and you know, pretty much local run for 3 weeks up there in the Salt Lake area, I'll go ahead and change that oil. I'd say it's pretty borderline because, you know, you idle more when you're doing a lot of local work. So before we get started on any kind of number, so we're up here at the petrol right now trying to get an oil change. But before we get started, I just want to preface this by saying that the block here was a lot easier. I want to say like 30% easier. And number two is like a lot less miles. So let me just say that. And also, I just want to say that these numbers are just like, you're not always going to get these kind of numbers. They're achievable for sure, but you're not always going to get these numbers. All right, so numbers. We know that we're going to get paid approximately $37.88 for this block. And it was about 638 miles. And fuel out here average at $3.94. And this truck averaged 6.5 to the mile, or to the gallon. 6.5 miles to the gallon. So if you divide 638 to 6.5, that equals to 98, plus or minus probably 8 gallons when you're climbing hills, you know. And if you take 106 gallons and multiply it to 395, that would be around 417. And when you subtract 417 from 3788, you get 3370. So when you divide 3370 by 2, you equal to 1685. I know it's a lot of freaking numbers and that's way too much for your head, but I'm gonna list them. Anyway, 1685, that's how much you make per day. See, I do it per day because of the fact that we only drove 638 miles in 2 days. So you can literally drive or 300, half of that in just half a day. But the work that we do for Amazon, because you drop and hook, you go to several places, takes you, actually the first day I worked about 9 hours. The second day I worked about 6 hours, I believe. Yeah, just the total drive, because it was just one pick, one drop. So that was easy. That's why these loads are easy. And for 1685 for a day, that after fuel, I'd say that's not bad. That's not too shabby at all. So the 1685 a day, you can actually accomplish that on the DAT load board. Even power only, you can accomplish that, but you would have to come from the West Coast to East Coast. I'm not familiar with North and South, and over in the Midwest, I'm not familiar with that market, but 1685, that's actually after fuel, that's actually doable for the DAT load board. Now, why I go with Amazon? Because it's so much easier. You don't have to worry about getting set up with the broker, calling a broker, negotiating with the broker. You don't have, and you don't have to worry about picking up. You know, on average, when you're picking up loads, on average, you're spending 2 hours, maybe hour and a half to 2 hours on average for every pickup and drop off. So that right there, you got to calculate a lot of those time too. So it's a lot of numbers that you got to crunch. But overall, I think Amazon, these contracts, but you have to seek these kind of contracts. You can't just be like, jump on any contract, because some of the contracts they have, oh man, you might as well be on Section 8 housing, because you're gonna be making way below minimum wage. But like I said earlier, though, you cannot accomplish these kind of numbers. You cannot have these kind of numbers on the regular. And if you are getting these numbers on the regular, man, more power to you. I hope you're not lying to yourself, because these numbers they're very rare, you know. And as an OTR, these are the numbers that you should be striving for. But you're not, like I said, you're not always gonna get them. So don't be like, okay, I'm gonna buy me a truck, I'm gonna get on my own authority, and I'm gonna sign on with Amazon and make thousands and thousands of dollars. This is not what the video is about. This video is about being able to accomplish these kind of numbers. But at the same time, don't expect these numbers all the time, because they're not always there, you know. And I will tell you for a fact that they're not always there. And if somebody is telling you that they're there, and they're getting them on an average, on a regular basis, all year round, I'd say they're probably full of shit. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. But anyway, that's the end of the video. That's the end of this block. Easy block, and hopefully the rest of them are not too far off from this kind of blocks or from these kind of work. And I'm so excited. Like, I don't think they're gonna be too far off. So if they are, I mean, if this was an easy one, I would say probably just an additional couple more hours. So you know what? I'll take that any day. Till next time.